All right, so here, this is where we last left off. We just entered in our purchase order for their coffees. So now it is now Sunday, June 16th, right? We're still setting up the store, right? So this is what we have here, right? We're going to establish a petty cash fund, okay, for $500, okay? And Irene will be in charge of the petty cash drawer. Okay, so this is what you want in the petty cash drawer, right? $500. Okay, so how do you establish a petty cash fund?
Okay, you open your petty cash.
Petty cash. What account is that?
Uh, 10, 200.
Okay, and how are you gonna get the $500 cash into the petty cash drawer?
Checking.
You're gonna go through your checking account. Yes. Okay. For how much?
500.
For $500. Okay. Now, in real life, how are you going to actually get the money into the petty cash drawer?
You're going to put it in for cash.
Okay. Let's say in real life. How are you going to get the money in there?
Mm. Okay, you're gonna take it out of your checking account for cash.
In real life. How would you do that?
You would have to go to the bank.
You would have to go to the bank.
So it would go, so you would also debit, I mean, credit the bank.
Well, in this case, okay, I'm talking about in real life. Okay, how would you put the money in the petty cash drawer? Okay, yes, you got to go to the bank, but what do you got to do when you go to the bank?
You're gonna withdraw.
Now, in proper ways, is that something you can do? Can you just go to the bank and just withdraw the money?
You can if you want to.
Yes, but legally for a business, would that be the correct thing to do?
No.
So what would you do? And on top of that, Irene is responsible for the petty cash drawer. So do you think Irene can walk to the bank and withdraw?
No.
So what would be the proper way to do this?
Would you be able to use your line of credit for your business?
This isn't necessary to do so. Remember, because you don't want to charge yourself more interest for money that you actually have to be able to put in a petty cash drawer.
Mm.
So you're doing good so far, right? You got to the bank. If you're gonna send Irene to the bank, what does she need to carry with her?
She need to carry the account number.
No,
I mean,
because
I mean, Mm.
No, because this is Bob's bank account. You don't want to trust your employees with a bank card, can you? Should you?
No.
So what would be the proper way to do this?
Mhm.
And on top of that, how else is Irene gonna get $500 into the petty cash drawer? Think of real life. How does Irene get the money into the petty cash drawer? By going to the bank. What is the problem if she goes to the bank with, how is she going to get the money from the bank?
Which he could get a receipt.
What do you need a receipt for? You're not paying Irene anything, or Irene's not buying money for the petty cash drawer. Okay, if Irene goes to the bank, how is she going to get money out from the bank? Real life situation. How is she going to get the money from the bank if the boss is not going to give her the bank account card, right? She can't just go to the bank and withdraw because this isn't her bank. So how else can she withdraw money from the bank? From the business bank account.
She would need the business bank account number.
She's not the owner of the bank account. How can she be able to authorize that kind of transaction? How can she?
Oh God.
Right?
Right.
You don't you're not going to trust your employee to give them your bank card and say, "Hey, yeah, pull out some money for me." You think that's going to be a very
No, 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 no.
exactly. So how can an employee pull out money from a business checking account?
Well, Bob would have to do it.
But we assigned Irene to do it. Bob can't shouldn't be the one that does everything, right? We have to delegate. So if Irene is responsible for the petty cash drawer, how is she going to get the money into the petty cash drawer? It's a very simple concept. I think you're making it harder than what it is. How does a person get money from the bank that
Can it be a ACH withdrawal?
an ACH is where you're using an electronic transfer? No. So no. If I were to pay my employees, how would I pay them and they're able to get the money from the business checking account?
It'd be a check.
Exactly. You write a
Okay.
check to Irene and she goes to the bank and cashes it out.
Okay.
Isn't
All
that
right.
isn't that right?
All right.
Yes, right. Very simple concept, right? You're making it harder than it really was. Yes, you're gonna cut her a check. She's gonna go to the bank. She's gonna cash it out and take that money and put it into the petty cash drawer. And if there's money missing, we know exactly what happened because we entrusted Irene to be responsible for it. So we know where the money is at all times. So that's also another thing too. is that that is proof of a transaction. Because what if Irene decides to withdraw so much money from the checking account and we don't see where that money goes? That is a very problem right there. You cannot trust your employees to handle a business bank card. The owner should do it, right? But if we're
Right.
entrusting in Irene to get a job done, while Bob handles everything else at the store, what is the best way to do that? And that would be cutting Irene a check. She goes to the bank, cashes it out, and puts that money into the petty cash drawer, right? And that way we would know, did she withdraw the $500? Because it says on the check it's exactly $500, right? You can't cash out a check and only take half of it, right?
All right.
So exactly. So at least we know that way we can secure our transaction, right? By recognizing that this person's doing the job, so this is what they're pulling out, and this is what they're putting it into the petty cash drawer. So in this case, that's exactly what you're doing. You're writing a check out to have more proof of a transaction, but to validate the transaction, but also keep track of Irene. We don't know Irene's story. We don't know what she's about, right? And that's her one task right there, is if she's in charge of the petty cash drawer, then she should be responsible for getting the money into there. Okay? So there you go. So good. So now we need to cut a check, right?
Right.
So
it's going to be check 1516.
For how much? For how much?
For 500.
Okay? And we're going to make this check out to Irene because she's going to be responsible for the petty cash drawer. So right here, go ahead and write Irene Jameson. Okay? And what is it for?
Petty cash.
Okay? So whether she goes to her bank or the business bank, it doesn't matter because the check is already written out to her. So it doesn't matter how she gets the money or where she gets the money, as long as she gets the money.
Yeah.
Okay? Okay. So check number 1516. Okay, and what are you going to write here?
Petty cash startup.
Okay, to establish petty cash drawer, cash fund. Okay.
You're going to put the check number in.
Okay. Good. Okay.
Then we'll go into petty cash.
You're going to go to your petty cash ledger account.
All right.
Okay, so assets. Petty cash. What's your notes here?
Okay.
Right, to establish the petty cash fund.
Okay. Post reference would be your general journal 5.
We're at the very bottom of page 5 for how much?
$500.
Okay. And then Okay. I need
Okay,
to fill out the rest of the ledger. What
so
happened
you,
here?
okay, check number 15, 16. You're going to credit 500.
So how much should I have in my bank account now?
V 1599.92.
15.99.92. Yes. Okay. All right. Good. Did we have to deal with anybody for this?
No.
Okay, good. Then we need to establish our cash register, right? We need to put money into the cash register. We can start our sales tomorrow on Monday, the 17th. So in this case, you need to set up your need to set up your cash register to always have at least a total of, to start each morning, okay, so the cash register must have at least this much amount in every each morning, and Irene's going to be responsible once again to handle the cash register, right? That's what we hired her for, to handle the cash register. Since she's responsible for the petty cash drawer and the cash register, we need this exact amount. We need to have five $20 bills, five $10 bills, $25 bills, and $51 bills, and at $10 in coins. So therefore, grand total is going to be $310.
Okay, you're going to have the cash register.
Cash register or cash in the register?
Cash in the register.
Cash in the register. What account number is that?
10,300.
Okay, and where is this cash coming from?
It's going to be coming out of checking.
Mm-hmm. For how
And
much?
$310.
Okay. And how is Irene going to get the money into the cash register?
Okay, we're going to cut her a check for the 310.
And she has to go into the bank to get the exact change.
Right.
So she can go the next morning, right? Because it's today's Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So check number 1517 for how much?
310.
Okay, for who?
Irene Jameson.
For
Cash in register.
good. So 1517. Okay. So what would your description be for this transaction?
To establish cash in register.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, and next we would go into uh, assets, and you will be doing cash in register in your ledger.
Okay. So cash in register. Here we are. Do you need to have the specifics of how much money you should have in each like each bill,
The
that's up to
denomination,
you.
yeah.
It's up to you. So you want, was it, what did I say? 5 20s, 10 10s,
No, it's 5 20s,
five
five
tens,
tens.
25s, 51s, and $10 in coins. Okay. If you want to put that in there, you can do that too. 5 20s, 5 10s, 25s, 51s, and $10 in coins. Okay. General journal. We started on the new page because we're at the bottom of page 5, so now we are on page 6. Okay.
So we're gonna debit the 310.
Okay.
So so cut our check. We journalize. Put it in the ledger.
We have to update our checking account because we pulled out more money, right?
Right. So it's check 1517. General Journal 6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's for $310, and our balance now is 1289.92.
Good. All right. Very, very low on our checking now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to set our store's selling price lists. Okay. Sales tax is 8.25%. Okay. So this is what we offer and sell at our store, right? In store, we sell medium regular coffees, right? Because we got medium and large cups. Large regular coffees. We have medium supreme coffees and large supreme coffees, and we sell ceramic coffee mugs at our store. We also partake in also being a wholesaler as well, right? That's what we hire Albert Allen for, to represent us as a wholesaler to sell our products to other coffee shops, right? So we also sell the coffee by the pound. Okay? We sell the coffee, regular coffee by the pound for $3.29, and we also sell the supreme coffee by the pound for $3.99, and we also sell to our wholesalers for the coffee mugs for significantly cheaper for $4.99. Okay, so that is our store prices. Okay. Okay. So no real transaction did, but it's just a reference point so you know where the numbers are calculated when we talk about calculating our sales. Okay. So there, now it says Bob, okay, decides to fill up the truck with some gas, okay, and uses the business credit card. Okay, so here's the little receipt from the gas station. Okay.
So it would be gas expense.
Do we have a gas expense account?
Would it be a vehicle expense?
Do we have a vehicle expense?
Okay, we have a purchase expense.
So remember, we're using purchase expense for our inventory.
Okay. Business expense.
Mm, there is a better account out there.
Okay, I know we're doing a Visa payable on it.
Yes, that's correct. We're using our business credit card to pay for it. But what is the expense account that we're associating this with? Remember, we have to use a double system entry, right? If we have a
Uh huh.
credit, we need our equal and opposite debit. Okay, so take a look at your chart of accounts.
Okay, so the only two I see that are probably going is either vehicle or the truck.
We don't have via. Okay, so which section are you looking at? Are you looking at an asset or are you looking at expenses? Because why
Okay,
would gas be considered part of the asset?
I see a gas payable, but that gas payable is for the building.
Correct, and we don't owe the building, right? This is the truck.
Would it be a travel expense?
It would be a travel expense, correct, right? Because you need gas to travel, right?
Right.
So in this case, good. So travel expense, which is account
Okay.
number
6,300.
63,000. Good. Okay. So we're gonna start putting in money into our travel expenses. Okay. Right. And you were correct here. We are using our Visa credit card to pay, right? So therefore,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna charge our Visa credit card. Okay. How much are we charging?
91.54.
$91.50. Good. Okay, you have everything that you need to fill in your description. Okay, what did you do?
Purchase gas,
Where at?
General Gas and Motors, and the receipt number is 3849876.
Okay. And what did you buy?
Gasoline.
You bought 23 gallons of gas. Of gas. Okay, good. That's going to be a travel expense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what is next?
Okay, you're going to go into your ledger for travel expense.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here you go. Travel expenses. We purchased
23 gallons.
okay.
And you're going to put the receipt number.
You don't have to put the receipt number here.
Okay. Okay, you're going to credit.
This is an expense.
So debit the 91.54.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then you're going to go to Visa payable.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you're going to put purchase gasoline.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we go put the receipt number at.
You don't necessarily, not here, but you're going to do it
Okay.
in the subsidiary ledger.
Okay. So
Gas. Okay, so general gas and motors.
mm-hmm.
How much did you charge your credit card for?
91.54.
So how much do you owe on your credit card now?
$632.44.
Good. Okay. So you finish your ledger. your journal, your ledger. Where do you need to put this receipt?
Um,
Expenses?
Not expenses. We dealt with a person, right?
Yeah, the subcontractor list or something?
Subsidiary ledger,
mhm.
right? Right? Because even though we made a payment, right, it's proof that a transaction has occurred. Even though gas is a little tricky, right? You can't really do much with gas, right? You can't return gas, you can't get discounts on gas, but at least it's proof that a transaction has occurred in case you do get audit. Because if you are writing these gas as travel expenses, right, you need to have backup proof, right? So in this case, I'm going to locate General Gas and Motors. Here we go, General Gas and Motors. Okay, what did you buy? You purchased 23 gallons of 91 gas, right?
Mhm.
Okay, you used your Visa credit card to pay for it. What was my sales receipt number?
3849876.
Okay, journal.
Journal 6.
Okay, what was the amount on the receipt?
9154.
And you paid with your Visa credit card.
Yes.
Okay, good. Now let's see. Do we have time? Let's see. Yes, I guess we have time for a couple more transactions, right?
Okay.
So now it is finally the 17th. It is Monday. And the first thing we got to do is we got to pay LV Remodeling. Okay, we got to pay LV Remodeling for the foundation reinforcement, invoice number 1760. Use a check. So that's the first thing we got to do is we got to pay our bills. Okay? We got to pay off invoice number 1760 to LV Remodeling.
So you would go to accounts payable.
Yes, we're paying off our liability.
It'll be okay. And you're going to checking.
Yes, because we're paying it out of our checking account. For how much?
Okay, we gotta go to L&V remodeling to
Okay.
find out what we owe.
Perfect. So subsidiary ledger, LV remodeling. Okay, here you go. LV remodeling.
So we owe them $1,560.
1560. Okay. Okay.
Okay, we're gonna cut the check on number 1518.
For how much?
1560.
To who?
L&V remodeling
Okay. For.
foundation.
Okay. So check number 1518.
Okay, paid L&V, LV remodeling
Okay.
for foundation job.
Check number.
1518.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna go to your subsidiary ledger. And you're gonna put paid for foundation job.
Invoice number.
Okay, 1754. I mean 1760.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, General ledger 6.
And what did we
Currently,
do?
we made the payment.
So now it says LV remodeling, we do not owe them anything. So I'm going to highlight this bill right here and I'm going to make it green because I paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. So I owe LV remodeling nothing.
Okay, now we got to see how much we got in the bank.
Yes, so we got to go to our ledger to update so we know how much money we have in our checking account. Okay.
Okay, we got to put
You want to do the checking first or the liabilities first?
do the liabilities first.
Okay. Okay. So we're reducing our liabilities.
Uh-huh.
Okay, today's the 17th.
Invoice number 1760.
Okay.
Journal 6. General Journal 6.
Okay.
And we're going to debit for the 1560.
Okay. So how much do I owe now that I reduced and paid off a liability? I paid off a bill.
$15,676.
Okay, we're decreasing our liabilities, not increasing.
It's $13,296.40.
Mm-hmm. Because we paid off our liabilities, right? We owe less money now. Okay. And then checking. We wrote out another check.
Ooh, that check go bounce.
Well, is that true? I'm going to ask you that question in a second. So here, 6. Okay, and how much did we pay for? 1560, right?
Yeah,
So how much do we have left in our checking account?
1289.92.
That's what we had before the check. Now that I wrote the check for 1560, how much do I actually have now?
Negative 211.
Negative 211, right? Or I did not get 211. I got 270.08. Okay. So in this case, this is what I'm going to have you do. Okay. Now, a negative debit is going to be considered a credit, right? So 270.08. Now, for the sake of this form here, I don't want to erase my formula in here, okay? Because my formula is still intact. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one, I'm going to white it out so then it hides the numbers there. And I just type in my credit because oftentimes you're not going to have a credit balance usually, right? You're supposed to have a debit balance. So that's what I'm going to do to hide my number. The number's still there. If I double click on it, your number's still there, but it's just in white ink now. So it's just hidden. Okay? And I just put it on the credit side. Okay? Now in this case, right, you said the check is going to bounce. Is that true?
In a way, but he has to pay the fee.
Well, before we even talk about bouncing the check, right? What's the assumption that happens with checks?
That they would not be cashed that day, but it'd be like the whatever the date is. Like,
Correct. It's not going to get cashed out that day because my assumption is I must be mailing this check out. How long does it take to get from one place to another?
like 3 to 4 days.
3 to 4 days. And then how long does it take for them, the person who's receiving the check, to be able to process into their bank?
Well, it'll take a couple more days too, or the following date.
Correct, right? Depending on what time and when they receive it, right? So since today's Monday, if I send it out, let's just assume that they are right down the street, so it should process or it should be mailed out to them within 2 to 3 business days. And then when they receive it, right, they might not cash it in right away. They might wait till the afternoon where they can put it during their lunch hour, or they can wait till the very end of the day, whatever it is, or they can wait till the end of the week, right? We don't know, right? That's their business. So in this case, right, that means we have leeway time. So are you going to get charged an NSF fee?
No.
Probably not. Most likely not, because you're just only short by $210. Because you know this much information, you have time to go to the bank and deposit money, right? Because we just opened up our store, so we're going to deposit our sales at the end of the day. But in this case, that's what I'm trying to say and trying to get at is that you have time. Every check that you write out, you have at least 2 to 3 business days because it takes time for them to cash it out on their end as well, right? So in this case, we're not in the negative yet. Okay, we still technically have time on our end to put that money back into the bank. Okay. All right. So we did the journal. We did the ledger. We did the subsidiary ledger, right? Okay. So let's see. I'm gonna stop here for now because the next couple transactions are actually going to take up a big chunk of the time of class. So in this case, that's why I'm going to stop here because it's already 11. So yeah. So any questions in regards to anything that we did today?